Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time we're going to be taking a look at the PC Engine, or the TurboGrafx 16, playing classic PC Engine games on the RG351 Anbernic handheld. Now I've got the 351M, which is like the metal casing of this one, but these work equally well on the 351P and also on the RG350, the previous iterations, because the PC Engine is hardly stretching these little devices on a technical point, but it's nice to see how well they are emulated right out of the box, and certainly this is one which you're not going to really have any sort of issues whatsoever with any original TurboGrafx 16 games that we chuck at it. Certainly the PC Engine didn't really have a massive following outside of Japan, and in the UK you hardly ever saw it. So consequently games that were released are quite expensive. This is one of the renowned classics, although it's okay, but I've never really been a massive fan. Splatterhouse, but quite a few people do rave about this one. This is the first sort of mini boss level. And this was about as far as I got on my first stab at it. This is it Gomola Snake, I recall. It's a bit like the old classic Gomola Speed, I think it is. It's a bit like the old classic games that you'd have on the really early mobile phones, where you create a long snake and then you have to wrap your snake around little particles to absorb them and avoid the boss as well. Actually really addictive, this one. And as I was playing through it, I was really surprised to see some of the elements from the game Gauntlet in here, like the exits down to new levels, and even some of the sound effects, which I thought, blimey, did not know that was the case. And the levels do get progressively more complicated as you go through the game, but it is recommended, this one. This one's a Taito Chase H.Q. Nice little racer. pretty standard stuff, but back in the day this was pretty incredible. It really was. Quite tight on the time though. This is probably my favourite game for the PC Engine. It's Devil Crush. And this was an early version of one which came out on the Mega Drive called Dragon's Fury, and the sequel Dragon's Revenge. And it's basically like a gothic stroke steampunk pinball game. And I do absolutely love this one. Now, unlike the Mega Drive, because this was like the precursor to that, it doesn't have any bonus levels, but the actual playboard is fantastic, and a lot of the sort of the art styling and the scoring system, things like that, they're all the same, and it's really intuitive as well. It's probably one of the best games released for the system, and definitely an excellent video pinball game, which I'm a huge fan of, always have been. Yeah, fantastic pinball that. Love it. Really love it. So this next one I'd never played until I started selecting a few games for today's video, and it was the TurboGrafx 16 PC Engine version of Die Hard. Now, I played a fantastic Die Hard on the PlayStation 1. It's Die Hard Trilogy, wasn't it? Brilliant. Classic game. This is something completely different. There you are, that's you as John McClane. And it looks a bit like an overhead sort of commando style game, doesn't it? Very, very similar. But set in the Die Hard universe. Now, I'm a big fan of the Darius shoot 'em ups. I mean, they're fantastic, and shoot 'em ups or shmucks on the PC Engine, that could be a whole video in itself because there's so many of them, and it's probably what the system is most famous for. I really do like shmucks, but I'm not very good at them. I love the Darius series, but I found this one impossibly difficult, and it may be just down to the size of the screen, making it a little bit harder to see everything that was happening on that little screen, possibly. Plus, I'm just rubbish at schmucks, but as much as I love them, certainly my favourite Darius game is the one called G Darius, which came out on the original PlayStation, and I believe is on a recent Darius compilation for the Switch, and that one I can very much recommend, and it's a bit more forgiving than this. Time for just one more. It's another shooter, Coryoon. Now this one's a little bit different. It's a bit more colourful, but something just to sort of play out on. So as you can see, absolutely perfect, pixel perfect emulation, exactly what you would expect on such an old system, on such a modern little handheld. It's not putting it to any sort of put it under any sort of pressure, and every game that I tried was emulated perfectly, as you would expect. Certainly it's got a huge library, and one that I think you just need to try a few games, because you'll be surprised by what you might come across. So there you go. I hope you have enjoyed today's video, looking at yet another system running on the RG351, in this case a 351M. If you have enjoyed today's video, do please give it that thumbs up, and do please consider subscribing if you've not already for regular retro gaming and RG351 content. I've got loads more still to cover on this little handheld in the weeks to come. Thanks very much for watching today, and I shall look forward to seeing you again very soon with another classic retro gaming video. Bye.